The attack on October 7th came after more than 50 years of brutal occupation by Israel and complete rejection of a state of Palestine. Israel is pushing for war with Iran. I have no sympathy for Israel's policies at all. I find them abhorrent, I have to say. As an American Jew, I find them disgusting because they have prevented peace with the Palestinian people. And the answer for peace is a state of Palestine and a state of Israel. The reason for Israel facing the attacks that it does is that from 1967 onward, and one can even discuss the 1967 war, but let me put that aside for the moment, Israel has taken the view that it will keep all the land that it conquered in 1967. That's the basic policy of Israel since 1967. One political party which has dominated Israel since 1978 is the Likud party, which is Netanyahu's party. It is the core of Likud, the very core of the movement that there will never be a Palestinian state. Now, given that there are 16 million people in the territory of of so-called mandatory Palestine before Israel was created in 1948, half of those are Palestinian Arabs and half of those are Jews. That's the situation. Right now, the 8 million Jews rule over the 8 million Palestinians. Netanyahu's entire strategy, spelled out since 1996, has been that we will hold on to all of Palestine, and if anyone tries to stop us from doing so, our big buddy behind us will clobber them. That's Israel's policy. So Israel's policy, and it's very explicit, I could go through a very detailed account of it. Israel's policy is, we know that this will be unpopular, and we will have to overthrow any government that supports the Palestinian cause. And in 2001, the so-called neocons, who are also the so-called Zionist part of the U.S. government, produced a document which is also well known, and I've talked to two people who know it very well, General Wesley Clark and another Air Force commander, Dennis Fritz, that called for 7 wars in the Middle East in 5 years after 2001. And those 7 wars were to take out Israel's enemies. And those 7 wars were Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Somalia, Libya, Sudan, and Iran. And there have been 6 of those wars fought on Israel's behalf. And they have led to an ongoing bloodbath in the Middle East. In Africa, Libya is in civil war. Sudan now has 2 civil wars because the U.S. divided the country and then each one has a civil war. Somalia doesn't exist as a state. Lebanon is under attack of Israel today. Syria today literally is under attack of Israel after being taken over by al-Qaeda, backed by the United States, by the way. The United States is pushing for, Israel is pushing for war with Iran. I have no sympathy for Israel's policies at all. I find them abhorrent, I have to say. As an American Jew, I find them disgusting because they have prevented peace with the Palestinian people. And the answer for peace is a state of Palestine and a state of Israel. And when one asks, is that possible? I speak regularly with the foreign ministers across the Middle East. I'm talking about Egyptian foreign minister, Jordanian foreign minister, Turkish foreign minister, Saudi foreign minister. I know all of them personally, and I talk to them at length. The Arab world has been asking for peace with Israel since 2002 in what's called the Arab Peace Initiative, and Israel has been giving them the finger and saying no, because we will keep all of the territory. Now, this is suicidal, in my point of view, for Israel, and it is illegal and utterly cruel. So an attack comes on October 7th. Did that come out of the blue? No. The attack on October 7th came after more than 50 years of brutal occupation by Israel and complete rejection of a state of Palestine. So I have no sympathy for Netanyahu. I regard him as one of the most violent, deranged political leaders in modern history, actually. I want them to stop, because I know, I speak to the Iranians, I speak to across the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, 57 countries. I probably know half of the foreign ministers of the OIC. Everybody wants peace, except Israel. Israel wants control. Does Netanyahu offer a single alternative other than we defeat Hamas? Has he uttered one sentence about a political outcome? No, not a, you know why? Because his whole career, his whole life is based on preventing a state of Palestine. What's the answer? You know what their answer is? Kick them out. That's their answer. That is literally the policy. That's what Trump was talking about a few weeks ago. And then people told him, no, Mr. President, don't say that. And the Egyptians and the Jordanians said, we're not taking them. We're not going to have ethnic cleansing in our neighborhood again. So all of this is to say, I've been going to Israel since 53 years. 53 years ago were the first illegal Israeli settlements in the West Bank. It was explained to me when I was a high school senior, we're putting facts on the ground, Jeffrey. Okay, we're 53 years later, and the Middle East is in a bloodbath still. So that's why I have no sympathy at all. We're seeing in other parts of the world tremendous instability and lack of strategy. In the Middle East, basically, unfortunately, and to my chagrin, it is probably a doubling down of the U.S. Backing of Israeli mayhem, which I regard as a genocide, and I regard as absolutely destructive of peace in the region. But I don't see Trump changing that. It's still early days. He once did tweet something of me calling Netanyahu an SOB, and Trump posted that, and then there were headlines in Israel for about 3 days. What did he mean by that? But apparently not a lot, because in the last days, we're back to Netanyahu's wars everywhere: war in Gaza, war in the West Bank, war in Lebanon, war in Syria, war in Yemen, and what Netanyahu wants is a war with Iran, which could be a world ender, actually. I don't think we'll go to war with Iran, but the Israeli mayhem is not being stopped by Trump. It's actually rhetorically being encouraged by Trump. So that's a big disappointment for me. When it comes to trade, I don't have to say more than Trump is uniting the world, because there is not a single place in the world that is satisfied with this new tariff regime, including inside the United States. It has succeeded in stopping the stock market rally and reversing it. It has succeeded in lowering automobile company share prices yesterday. I didn't check today, but down 5% yesterday when the automotive tariffs were issued. It's a completely ignorant economic policy as far as I'm concerned. We can talk about it, but I see no merit whatsoever on any count to the protectionism that Trump is trying to bring about. So there, the whole world is unhappy about it. And then when it comes to Asia, we'll discuss this, probably Trump and the administration probably want to avoid open conflict with China. Whether they are clever enough to do so, I'm not sure, but there'll be a lot of noise and instability. I predict, I'll make a prediction that is clear and therefore could be completely proved wrong soon. I don't believe there will be any grand bargain or any great agreement between the United States and China on anything for years to come, because I think the U.S. administration is too unstable for anything like that, because any serious agreements require consideration and strategy. I, for one, don't believe that we have any of that in Washington now. I think we have improvisation, no role of Congress, basically a one-man show, executive orders, mostly illegal, court challenges that are proliferating by the day. So I think it's a mess, not a strategy. Well, I hope that explains why I'm not welcome in Washington.